This is Black Views. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. FBA all day. Black commentary. Grassroots media. Here to provide logical information to foundational Black Americans. The people that I love, the people that I were raised with. My brother, my mother, my father, my siblings, my cousins, my grandparents. From West Virginia to Virginia, from Detroit to California, my family. Black Views. Okay. Now, what's up? I hope everybody is in a good frame of mind today and ready to think about what I'm talking about. Today, our subject, the DEI Workplace. In my life, I have had the fortune to be able to work in different places, Fortune 500 companies, to being able in the military to work in areas that were sensitive because of my MOS. I was able to be around pretty much captains and colonels and listen to things that go on throughout the day. And then once I came out of the military, I went into the workforce. I went into corporate. My first job was with EDS. Okay, that was my first job with EDS out of the military, straight up. And the only thing that made me go into the IT field versus law enforcement, high tech law enforcement at that time, we talking about the 90s. We talking about like pretty much right after the Rodney King thing, and then you had OJ, his situation that was going on. So there were it was a lot that were going on. They were a little more bolder then. They'll say things out in the open. There was no DEI. There was none of this. There was no inclusion. It was just straight up, you gonna get what we give you, and this is it. Okay. So in the workplace during that time, I was able to hear lingo and listen to how they talked about different people. It was pretty much my job to put information in service record books. So I was in high sensitive workplaces. Okay. So now we're gonna translate over to the workforce. So then after that, I got out and I went into IT. Once again, I went into IT because IT had more money in it, more training. It seemed to be more of a job where I can kind of be in somewhat lax environments and be able to get paid a decent wage, a good wage. So I would say probably around this DEI thing. I think this thing is something that's what they're calling it is DEI is fairly new. Okay, before they were proxy us off of affirmative action. So to say back then, oh, well, you have affirmative action, that's how you got the job or whatever, when really affirmative action pretty much benefited white women and everyone else. Then when they got rid of affirmative action, then that's when they came, okay, we'll come up with DEI. Okay, but this wasn't for us. It's to say that it's to benefit us, but it's not for us. And I can tell you firsthand. The jobs that I got, I mean, I had to pretty much be when I say supreme, I had to dress right, I had to talk right, and I had to know what I was talking about. I couldn't reach, I couldn't act like I was guessing. I had to know what I was talking about to get those jobs. And many of the jobs I know I got because of my military background. They helped me get in there because I was able to obtain certain clearances. So that was an avenue that allowed me to get through certain cracks. And yes, that guy will come visit me every month asking me, am I an enemy of the United States? Am I? Yes, that's how you get your clearance. It's a guy that goes around, follows you, and he listens to everything. He goes and visits your house. He visits your parents. He visits your neighbors. And they want that. It's in order for you to get certain clearances, you have to go through this type of process. So I'm talking about DEI today because I know there are black people, a lot of black people that have, or black students, young people in particular, that have graduated college, or maybe they went to a vocational school, or maybe they get into the workforce by way of military. So there's very different various ways that one could be in a professional environment. So when we talk about DEI, I found myself in so many situations where I wasn't that many of me, or if they were, we were only in a certain section. They had pretty much like they that's where all the black people going to be in the help desk. See what I'm saying? Like so what they did was they tiered off work based on pay. So like in order for you to work in the server rooms, only certain people worked in the server rooms. Only certain people worked at the um help desk. So when you call in and say your computer's not starting up or whatever, that's the first tier. That's the first contact with a customer. Pretty much that's where they kind of want to keep the black people at, like right in that little area right there. Then the next section is what you have. You may have back office. So now you're talking about servers. Now you're talking about other services that support users, depending on whatever your location is. Okay. So I want you to think about it where you're working in an environment where only uh, Indians are working in the server room. Only Indians, straight up. Only Indians are working in the server room. And I'm not gonna lie, the motherfucking exchange server keeps crashing. The network keeps crashing. I mean, shit keep crashing, bro. And you going in the fucking server room because if you're a technician, you have to sometime work with that where you have there you go. You have a different type of technicians. You got tier 1, tier 2. Then you may have a tier 3, tier 4, depending on what your operations are. So now you have to go in these certain areas where it's just them and they hoard information. And I'm gonna tell you why these systems break down. I'm gonna tell you why your services don't work at your home. I'm gonna tell you why shit don't work properly. Because when they're at work, they're having these fucking wars, man. Like this tier don't want to talk to that tier, and then you have to go through a manager in order to get a signature because this guy don't want. I'm telling you, it's really fucked up. And in a lot of cases, black people are pushed into certain areas and not allowed to get in other areas. It's just like that. That's exactly how it is. So when we talk about DEI workplace, you'll hear these people talk as if it's black people getting jobs that they did not qualify for. That's how they try to make it sound. When in truth, if you look here and you see on this display here, you will see exactly who's getting these jobs. Exactly who's getting these jobs. Okay? I want you to think about this for a second. These are the people that are coming into the jobs that are working, that are SESers. They're coming in, they're working in the executive areas of the workforce. Okay, the directors, those guys, yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Those guys that carry the Blackberries. Okay, we don't have Blackberries no more, but they used to have a whole server dedicated just to Blackberries. And these are your SESers right here. And they're mostly, and I'm just being frank with you today, homosexuals, old white women. Um, well, the white man, he catching a killing, but he's still in there. Don't get me wrong, he's still in there. He running shit too. Okay, and you just have everything you see right here, every group right here. That's lighter than you, and if they do have some darkies in there, that's going to be a tether. Okay, he's pretty much going to be a tether. He's going to go out and explore and see what black people are doing all day. And like I said, they're only going to fuck with the black people that's on the lower tiers. Okay, the black people that's running around taking the PCs over to the You'll see black people throughout the building with carts that have PCs and all type of other equipment and accessories. Yeah, he's moving the equipment around. He's connecting it from point A to point B. But then on the back end, that's where the money is, and that's where they kind of keep you out. You see what I'm saying? As a foundational Black American, you're gonna find yourself in situations with these DEI work people where you may be aggressive about a particular topic that's pertaining to work, and you could be right, but they will find it as you're being hostile, not uh excited about the work. Because see, your counterpart John, they're going to say he's just excited about the work, and he just wants to get it done. But you're going to be seen as they're going to look at your aggression as as a negative thing. They're going to look at you're always going to be a negative thing. You're always going to come into a workplace or an environment where you feel like you're kind of being ambushed. Because if you're smart, you look at your emails every day. You look at your tickets. You look at those things. You look at all that stuff, and it'll tell you what exactly is going on. When you look at the emails that you're CC'd in and the ones that you're not CC'd in, you start to realize that there's something going on the outside where they're having conversations. And sometimes these people aren't doing their jobs. Okay. When I talk about government, I'm talking about it from a contracting perspective. Okay. So you have to understand the government gives out contracts. And then you have people that come and say, hey, I can do the job. I can do the job. But the people that come and say that I can do the job, I can do the job, they could be of all different types, but they only select these types that you see right here. Let me go to my next scene. I'll give you a little a broader view. Now today we're talking about the workplace, okay? We're talking about workplace, and we're talking about the people that benefit from these workplaces, the people that you actually see in these workplaces. And you will see a sister in there, right? And 9 times out of 10, she's not your friend either. You know, and many times she's not FBA. And she's gonna sit up there and they're gonna have judgment. And you just look at this shit like I don't. This is why you see black people get pushed out of positions, and then they bring in these people here. Look at them. And many of them are foreigners. They're all foreigners. They be on that, what you call, I'm not sure the proper name, the HB1 or whatever the hell you call it. It gives visas for foreigners to come here and work. And I'm calling it like it is, because when you're competing for jobs and you're competing, these people are coming in, and guess what? They have a whole connected system together. Okay. They have a system where one Indian person has the answers to the certification test, and they're passing that shit around. And then somehow, some way, the person that is doing the I forgot what you call them, they actually sit in the proctor. The proctor is the person that actually administers the test and makes sure there's no cheating, make sure there's no, the proctor is an Indian. So they're getting these certifications, right? Think about it. They're getting these certifications, high level certifications, to work in certain high level IT positions that they don't have knowledge of. And so these servers, it's almost like if instead of you looking at a server, if you can imagine a server, it's like they got rubber bands and motherfucking paper clips, and they just have all type of shit keeping that shit together. One patch on another patch, but nothing works properly. Understand what I'm saying? Nothing is working properly because it's not done properly. But these are the people that are allowed to be there. You put so much money into this, but you don't put this money into the hoods. You don't put this money to ensuring that these bad schools, these schools that are bad, that they get on TV and they actually call them war zones. I'm talking about high schools. They call them war zones. Okay, well, why can't our government see those places as equivalent to what's going over in Ukraine. Why can't they see those things equivalent to what's going on in some of these nations that are getting billions of dollars? Why don't we have billions of dollars to fix our high schools and ensure that we're depending on our own children for high tech level jobs? But they didn't want that. You got to remember, they didn't want that. They never wanted this from the beginning. As soon as black people so-called got rights in America, that's when they ramped up immigration. And everybody came in and piggybacked off of our struggle and used affirmative action. And what they did was they came back on the back end through media and preached to everybody that all the black people that you see that's doing well are doing well because of affirmative action. Not because they were landowners, not because they were business owners that carried over from before 1964. So they used anytime they saw black people, even athletes, because black people, you know, when you look at at that time, white people, they saw all black people that looked alike. So they couldn't tell the difference between, according to them, they couldn't tell the difference between one or the other. So if they saw a black person that did well, that had nice things, that was able to maneuver around in this system of failure, they would just say, well, they got that because they were um because of affirmative action. See how affirmative action helped them and doesn't do anything for us? This is what they preach all day. Affirmative action. First was affirmative action. Clarence Thomas is the only black person in modern time that could actually tell you and that he could say, Thurgood Marshall, that they could actually say they benefited from affirmative action. Now, I want you to think about that for a second, right? I mean, they were along the time when affirmative action first came out. So nobody from these modern times has used affirmative action except for so-called, that's why they want to throw us all in as people of color. They want to say we all people of color. So when they say, oh yeah, affirmative action, DEI, that was all people of color. And it's not all people of color. It's these people right here that come to America, claim that they're people of color so they can take advantage of your benefits, black man, foundational black man, your benefits. That's why the world has capitalized. That's why you are able to see foreigners, generations, first generation, second generation of foreigners that are doing well today. And we're not even going to talk about business owners. We're just talking about ones that are making good money in government, that's sitting up in high places that have no idea what the hell they're doing. And black people are always on the bottom end struggling. And what they'll do is they'll put a tether in charge of you. Okay? They'll put a tether in charge of you. While the tether will go back and make your life hard, he gonna go back and report everything that's going on that lower level. See, this is how they do you. So you can have a high level clearance and they still only allow you to be over here. You be over here next to the hardware and shit. Next to the equipment. Yeah, so you run this area right here. Yeah, right here where the storage is. Yeah, that's how they do black people. I'm telling you. Even the black people that they may make a director or may make a some type of SESer. Yeah, he's over near the warehouse with the equipment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, it could be high level equipment too. He could be very knowledgeable of that particular equipment. But yeah, he's just working in that area. He's not touching that area because they have these people. Your buffer class. These people will always sit between you and the white people. They don't have to deal with you. See? So when you come in there and you telling the owner and shit, or you trying to you trying to tell somebody that this is wrong, how how it's going. No, 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 they don't want that. They're gonna put a buffer Buffer. That's why they have a buffer class. They're gonna put a buffer between you and them, and this is their buffer because these people are gonna jump out the window for them. Okay, because think about it. They're getting monetized at a high level, on 100, $200,000 a year. Some of them are getting paid $300,000 a year. So guess what? That's good to them. That oh hell yeah, that's an excellent wage to keep their foot on your motherfucking neck. So then when you start talking about you want to transfer over to this department, that position say that it's open, but just somebody got it. You know, when you applied, somebody got it. You see what I'm saying? So you're never going to have any representation in the higher. And if you go to HR, well, that's just you going to HR is just whispering in your project manager's ear, because when you go to HR, they tell the project manager. So now, when you go to HR with these problems, this is where they start the process of systematically moving you out, because that's why they have at will employers now. You see, at will employers, meaning that at any time the employment can say, hey, thank you for your job. You did a wonderful job. In fact, we even have a 2 month severance package for you, but we're going to thank you for coming out. And this is a revolving door for black people. Keep you on that revolving door. Keep you coming in, keep you coming out. So don't try to sit here and try to make it seem like black people, the jobs that black people get, trust me, they busting their ass and they fighting every day to keep. Okay, every day somebody's trying to hoodwink them out of their position so they can give it to their cousins. Now it's the Latinos. See what it is now in these positions we're competing with Latinos and all these other groups for mid-level positions. They may have one in a high level, okay? There may be one black person in the high level, but like I said, he's just in charge of acquisition of storage equipment or making sure that the budget is there to buy equipment from from Microsoft and Dell. Do you understand what I'm saying? Making sure the licensings are up to date on the software. Yeah, that's the black man's job. He's not going to ever have any say on anything. Um, it's just a report, pretty much, that he's going to provide about something. That's how it goes. I worked in this industry for about 30 years. Like I said, I also was a bouncer as well. So that just that just followed it up because I was able to work on different levels. You know what I'm saying? Also being from the DC area. So it's nothing you can tell me about what I can see that black people on the lower end are not getting access. They're not even sniffing these. You got black people live in DC. They can't even sniff a government job over here. Can't get there. Can't get past it because there used to be a time in DC where they had programs that would assist young black people with doing Marion Barry time. That would make a transfer from from high school, and that's why a lot of them went into the government. And these were government jobs. They went out of high and went through from high school. They went into government jobs. They gave them assistance in certain areas so they can they can have work. They had training from high school. They had training, and you see some remnants of it. Automotive, vocational schools. They used to teach you how to build a wall. This was part of investing in our country, investing in the young people. But we never really got it though. It was just something we saw really working for other people. But they, here you go. This is for you guys. But then you guys are just going to be secretaries. I want you to think about this for a second. At one time, the government is about what? This country is 200 something years old. I'm not sure. I think it's over 200 years old. So I want you to think about in the beginning there was no computers. So they used typewriters for a very long time, up to World War One, World War typewriters. And then all of a sudden, and I guess in the 80s or the 90s, now we really need servers. Now we really need um network access points. Now we really need this stuff. So this stuff had to be contracted out. It had to be contracted out. So who has this particular training, this computer training? You see? At that time, people were using common sense for computers because it was so foreign. They didn't need a certificate. And then they started coming out with certifications. Okay. Then they started coming out with requirements. And then once they started coming out with requirements, they started distancing that from the black population. You see what I'm saying? And then then all of a sudden now the certification is 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, $1,200. You see what I'm saying? Now they're creating a system that's pushing you away out of that training. Okay. So then they thought about it. Let's take it out of the high school. Also, take it out because we had computers in the beginning, and we had computers. So then they said, let's take the certifications out of the high schools. Let's not make this free. Let's make this 2,000. Oh, you want to learn how to do yeah, all of them. Microsoft, all of them did that. All of them did that, bro. So when you hear these people talk about DEI, the workforce, and how black people, and I know there's some black people that may not be, all the way, have knowledge on this type of what DEI is. And they may think like, yeah, we are benefiting because they see a black face. And I'm here to tell you, we're not. If you're FBA, you're not. But like I said, they got everything for the abuelas, senoritas, and capitans and shit. Everybody else is getting away, but there's never anything for us. And then the another diabolical thing: your congressmen say nothing. You have Negroes that do work as in high places and say nothing. And remember what I told you. Coonery is monetized. Okay? So if you get the right person and you be like, man, listen, I'm gonna pay you 300,000, but you're not helping nobody. You're just gonna be a face that people will see. And nobody can ever say that we didn't hire a black person. That's how they work out here. We can't expect these other groups of people to invest in us and our youth. That's why our money is old. That's why our reparations is old. So we can develop and create our own computer industries, our own shit, man. Like everyone else got to do. Because in the end, you are waiting in a long line depending on someone else's pity to see you a certain way to work in their office. They might only like guys that wear tight ass pants. How would you know? So you go to the interview, you motivated about, because they told you at school, you go in there, go on your best behavior, make sure you make eye contact, make sure you this. But the person that's hiring, he just like guys that wear tight ass pants that show the shape of their ass. So how can you expect to move in these environments when you have these type of people at the top? You will always be mid-level or below. And then even mid-level, it's hard to get in the mid-level because it's so packed in with foreigners in the buffer class. So I wanted to talk about DEI today to just bring this knowledge to the black youth. Yeah, I know it's gonna be a lot of people they're gonna say, yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about, or they're gonna try to make it sound and say that you're racist. And now that's what they can say now. You know, they can say you're racist. You didn't get hired because you were racist. I mean, they can say anything and say that you're racist now. It just sounds ridiculous. And our government and our people have allowed it to happen. Let me explain something to you. We're so knowledgeable about all the pronouns. We're so knowledgeable about what to call those people. We're so knowledgeable about what type of situation, operations, and medication that they get, that we're sensitive to everything that we say around them and what they do. But there's nobody sensitive to the nigga. And there's nobody sensitive to say, well, let's not do that because let's give them the job because they were. No, 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 no. They want you to think that DEI. If you see a black person, the first thing they say, oh, DEI. And that's just the devil being the devil. And guess what? The government doesn't correct it. They like that. And that's why we are owed reparations. And until we give reparations, shit is going to fall apart in this country. And this is why I'm telling you, like I did a video yesterday. About how the young man went up to Nashville. And I mean, well, he was in Nashville. I can say he went to Nashville. But he committed these shootings. Why did he commit those shootings? Because of confusion in his mind about who he was. You see? And this is what they're trying to project down to us. Make you think it's something going on with you. The reason you're not getting hired is because you're not applying yourself. See, this is what the suspected white supremacists want you to think. And then you know, I guess I don't know, they call them poor white trash. I don't know, these undertow people that be on Twitter. You have these people that don't know any facts about anything. And because of the proxy, yeah, they project the same shit. They sit there and say, "Oh, look at the black man got a job and shit." Like think about it. How can we have the job and not have the job at the same time? So I want you to understand that as FBA, you are literally a punching bag for the failures of white people in America. They will continue to blame you for their failures. Look, they put these people up there. And did not a black person sign a piece of document that allowed them to create a DEI workforce. Not a black person. Not it wasn't the Congressional Black Caucus. It wasn't Jim Clyburn. Not one black person lobbied for this. And no money was spent on this for black people's sake. Yes, there may have been some black people that kind of creaked through the cracks and shit. Probably, they had to maybe, I don't know, show their ass to get the job or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Look real weird and shit. To show that they were susceptible to all type of predatory management and shit to get the goddamn job. And then you have some funky ass suspected white supremacists just come along and say, "Oh, he got a job with they DEI." Man, I'm trying to tell you, those are the people that are going to really pay, and they're paying right now because they are complicit. They see what's going on, and instead of challenging their own people, they would rather just be concerned about if a black man got a big dick or not. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is a sick ass world, man. Well, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm sure there's a whole lot of shit I forgot before I got on here. So I'm gonna think about it and come back and make another video. But in the meantime, I want you to think about this. DEI Workplace, black people, BA was not created for you. It's not for you. You don't benefit from it in any kind of way. So I don't want you to be listening to people on Twitter with these fake ass charts, these damn tellers that get on here, and what they try to do is be like, "Don't you want this?" No, because it don't benefit you. Abortions don't benefit you. None of the shit that Democrats and tethers and shit, want you to believe actually works. So I'm gonna leave it at that. This is Black Views, bringing you the black news. Don't forget to hit the Cash App. Also, like, subscribe, hit the little white bell so that you can also get all the other videos that I have also created. Have a good day.